The SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, the junior novelization. Chapter 7. Mr. Krabs roughly threw Plankton to the ground. Squidward, the starving customers, and Karen gathered around. Plankton managed to chuckle. You all look very hungry. Can I get anybody a chum burger? Mr. Krabs leaned over Plankton. Enough with the niceties, Plankton, he snarled. This is the last time I'm going to ask you. Where is me formula? Plankton tried to scoot away from his enemy. I told you, Krabs, I don't have it. Wrong answer, Mr. Krabs said, lifting his foot to stop Plankton. Stop! Cried a voice. Mr. Krabs hesitated and looked around. He saw his fry cook, and he looked mad. Grrr. All right, Plankton, SpongeBob said with a growl. I can't do my job without that formula. And when I can't do my job, I get mad. Real mad. He kicked over a trash container, then he quickly knelt down and cleaned up the garbage that had spilled all over the ground. Oh, sorry about that, he said. He held up an empty can. You guys have a recycling bin for this? No? Okay, I'll just hang on to it and throw it away later. He put the can in his pocket and stood up. All right, Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob growled. Let me get in on this. Plankton looked confused. What's going on here? He asked. SpongeBob walked over to Plankton, pushing up his short white sleeves. You may want to stand back a little, Mr. Krabs, he warned. This could get messy. Let's hope so, Mr. Krabs said. SpongeBob leaned over and shoved his face close to Plankton's. So, you won't talk, eh, Plankton? Plankton blinked. I didn't want to have to do this, SpongeBob said. He pulled out a bottle of bubble solution, unscrewed the cap, and removed the wand. Then he expertly dipped the wand in the soapy liquid. Here comes the pain, SpongeBob said. Soap in the eye, eh? Mr. Krabs said approvingly. Diabolical. SpongeBob took a deep breath and pursed his lips. Plankton held up his tiny hands. No! Plankton cried. Stop! Don't! Bloop! SpongeBob blew a large, shiny bubble that surrounded Plankton completely. Mr. Krabs looked puzzled. Wait, he said. That doesn't look painful. SpongeBob turned to Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs, he explained. You may not understand what I'm about to do today, but someday we'll look back. He jumped inside the bubble with Plankton. And have a good laugh. As Mr. Krabs and the angry mob watched in disbelief, SpongeBob and Plankton floated up into the sky in their bubble. Hey! cried one of the angry customers. They're getting away! I'm sorry, Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob called down from the rising bubble. Mr. Krabs shook his fist up at SpongeBob. So you've been running the long con on me, eh? All these years you've been working for Plankton! They're in cahoots! Shouted an angry customer. Yeah, I guess that's the short way of saying it, Mr. Krabs admitted, and he jabbed his claw up toward the floating bubble. Stop that bubble! He and the mob ran after the bubble on the ground. He even launched one customer at the bubble. He hit it and held on for dear life. Please tell me there's something soft under me, he said to SpongeBob and Plankton. Nope, they answered. He fell off screaming. Ah! SpongeBob! Mr. Krabs shouted as he watched the bubble disappear into the distance. You are like an underpaid son to me. I would have expected Squidward to stab me in the back. At the sound of his name, Squidward woke from a brief snooze. Huh? What? Huh? He mumbled. But SpongeBob? Mr. Krabs continued. Me most trusted employee? He took a deep breath. You know what this means, Mr. Squidward. We get the rest of the day off? Squidward asked hopefully. No, Mr. Krabs said, shaking his head. This be but a harbinger of what I fear lies ahead. For you, for me, for all of Bikini Bottom. The Krabby Patty is what ties us all together, and without it there will be a complete breakdown of social order. A war of all against all. Dark times are ahead. Dark times indeed. Squidward scrunched up his face. Seriously? He asked. Aren't you overreacting a bit? But when he looked around, Squidward saw that Bikini Bottom had already erupted into flames. People were looting stores and fighting each other over scraps of food. The town had become a violent, ugly place, and Squidward and Mr. Krabs himself were suddenly wearing leather outfits that made them look tough. Welcome to the apocalypse, Mr. Squidward, Mr. Krabs said dramatically. I hope you like leather. I prefer suede, Squidward said. Stay tuned for Chapter 8 coming up soon.